Hi, everyone. It's Stephanie with Sellers Homes with Heart, and I am here today with the fabulous Preston Sandlin with Home Inspection Carolina, and he is known as Mr. Fancy Pants or Colorful Pants, or he is just Mr. Pants to me. But he is a rock star home inspector, and if he says it, you need to believe it. So it's great to have you here, Preston, and thank you for coming in and sharing your words of wisdom today. So, how can you enlighten us?
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you for that introduction, and back at you at being a rock star there.
Oh, thank you.
The pants are just for marketing to try to be remembered and embarrass my kids. I wear these crazy golf pants everywhere, and I tried to go straight and wear khakis, because it's a lot of work, and khakis are easy, and I would show up and they're like, "Really? We're disappointed. We expected more from you." So I have to keep it going,
The
but.
marketing ploy works.
But we don't wear pants. I mean, we don't wear those pants on the inspection. We wear normal pants. So if we show up, we'll look like we are inspectors, not in the Ringling Brothers or something. But Stephanie and I talked off air before we got started here, and she was sharing with me how she just made a deal work that probably 90% of the agents it would have gone south, where there was some blistering on a roof, but it was in a certain area. I guess insurance at first said they were going to replace it. Buyers wanted it replaced. Blah 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 blah. The closing got put off. Insurance comes out, and they said, "Yeah, no, we're not going to replace that." But now the expectations of the buyer are they wanted it replaced, and they're going to walk away from the deal. And Stephanie said, "Well, hold on, Mr. Mrs. Seller, or I don't know who, but if they were to replace it like we were going to do, you were going to pay a certain deductible. Would you still be willing to do that to make the deal work? Because that's what you were willing to do anyway." And they said yes. The buyer said, "All right, we'll take that, and they can do whatever they want with it. They make and fix that section of the roof, whatever, but you kept the deal alive, which is brilliant, brilliant, good realtoring, if that's a word on your part." And you were asking, had I seen or what advice could I give? And I see something similar like that a couple of times. We do home inspections and termite inspections. And a lot of times we'll find termites like a couple of tubes in a garage or something. And we report that and we put it on the termite report. And obviously the people can't get a loan until it's been treated. But by law, all the seller has to do is to do a spot treatment, like on that area, which is like they treat that area in 10 feet in each direction. But typically, with that, they'll treat it, give a clean letter, but they won't offer a warranty. Typically, now there could be some exceptions, but typically they won't offer a warranty with that. They'll only offer a warranty if they treat the entire house. So now you're talking about the difference between like $300 and $1,000. And obviously, what's the seller going to do? The minimum, they've got a lot of other expenses. They're going to do the $300, get the clean letter. And a lot of times the buyer wants the warranty though, which is $1,000, but they can't make them spend $1,000. So what I've suggested, very similar to what you said in multiple situations, in that is like, well, all right, how about if you guys, the sellers will pay what would get the spot treatment and the buyers will pay add to that to get the full treatment, pay the 700, then they get the warranty, everybody's happy. And 9 times out of 10 that works. You still have once every once in a while that's just hard to their position and not willing to compromise, but that's something we've seen there. But other than that, Stephanie, a couple of pointers I could give. I'll start with the sellers. Prepare your home to sell. I'm sure you prepare them, what is it, the 3 Ps, plants, paint, and I forget. So, get rid of all the family photos. People like to picture themselves living in there, and they can't picture themselves living in there with your family photos. But other than that, prepare everything for the home inspection. And we actually have a seller's inspection checklist on our website. If you go to
I
home
use
inspection,
it.
oh, thank you. Yeah, go to homeinspectioncarolina.com, and it's under you just roll across the tabs and there's down. I think it's under the realtors tab, which shouldn't be, it should be for anybody. But basically it's a download. I think it's 45, 47 of the most common things And some of them are super simple. Like I'll give you a real simple one that's an easy fix. You have low water volume at one of your faucets, but it's just that one faucet. It's not the whole house. So it's localized. 99% of the time, it's just you unscrew that little, it's called an aerator. It looks like a little screen. It's just got some sediment in it. Turn it upside down, scrub it out, screw it back in, great water flow. So, now you have an item that's not going to be on the inspection report. Another one is, get that wood out from underneath your crawl space. If there's firewood, anything like that, a deck is considered part of your crawl space. And if it has firewood, has termites in it, we're going to be at that problem we were talking about earlier. So, but anyway, do that. Get that seller's inspection checklist. I always say it's like studying for the test. It's what's going to be on the test. But print it out about a week ahead of time, not the night before, because you might need to go to Lowe's and Home Depot. But it's just a lot of simple caulking and stuff. And honestly, if you go through that thing, you'll probably knock off half the stuff that would have been on your inspection report. And a lot of, I'm not going to tell you to rewire your house,
right?
But the simple things. Now, if you're a seller and you want to take that a step further, get a pre-listing inspection. I would say, getting that checklist and doing that stuff is better, but getting a pre-inspection is best. But obviously, there's going to be some cost involved with that. The reason it's not for everybody because of the cost. I mean, you're looking at probably $400 or $500, and now they're going to show you all the things. But here's the advantage of that: if you choose to do that, if it were me personally, and I had a house that was in pretty good shape, I probably wouldn't do that. But if I had like a grandma or my grandma or somebody passed, and it was an estate or something, and I knew the house hadn't been maintained in a while, I would probably do this. Because here's the advantage of it. You get that, find out what's wrong with it before you have a financial negotiation, right? And if you know what's wrong with it beforehand, I always say you get the repairs done wholesale. If you do it after the inspection, you're going to pay retail for those repairs. So now if you know about it ahead of time, we can get multiple people, go out there and give us estimates. I mean, we have a second home in Florida, and it has a lockbox on it. I just send multiple people in there. Go give me an estimate. Go give me an estimate. Everybody will give a free estimate because they want the job, and I let them know other people are giving me estimates, so I get the best price. But and more than likely, that will way more than even save you what you paid for the pre-inspection. But if you have a pretty tight house to begin with, probably just get that checklist and you'll be fine. But I do like pre-inspections because you're being proactive instead of reactive. You're getting the repairs wholesale instead of retail. Now, on the buyer side, same thing, actually. You could get that seller's inspection checklist. And, Stephanie, we had this thing about 6 months ago, well, in about the past year, up until about 6 months ago, where there was a very low supply. There's still low supply, but it's not like it was, where it was so competitive. People were, you almost had to give 20, 30, 40. I even seen a 6-digit due diligence fee.
I know. That was crazy.
Yeah. And the problem with due diligence, and for anybody who's out there listening, realtors probably, but due diligence is like layaway. And it's the thing like layaway is you put that money down, they take it off the shelf for you for a certain amount of time for you to get the rest of the money. But if you don't do it, and you can walk away for any reason, when it's a normal price, and it's an advantage to both people,
right?
The seller gets paid for taking it off the market for a certain amount of time, and the buyer paid a fee, but they can walk away for any or no reason. Like with earnest money, they decide they want to walk away, they can't, or before they brought in due diligence. But the big thing about it is it's non-refundable. You can't get it back. The only way is you got to move forward with the deal. And you put $1,000, $1,500 down, that hurts a little bit, but you'll walk away from that. I mean, bad night in Vegas is what I call it.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But you put $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 down, that's like a bad week in Vegas. So that's
you
not
lost
good.
The car in Vegas.
Right. So what we were running into was people putting these high due diligence down, Stephanie. And then, we come in and do the inspection and it's like, you know what? The floor is eaten up with mold and termite damage. You probably got about $60,000 worth of damage under there. So now you're like, oh my God, I got $30,000 down in due diligence. I got 60,000 in repairs. I mean, that's just a no win situation.
Mhm.
And what we were doing there for a while was a walk and talk. We would go with,
Yes.
The real estate agent and just, while you were showing the house, you're showing kitchen bathrooms, we're going to crawl space to attic, just looking for anything major. Obviously not as good as a full inspection, but better than nothing. And maybe we could catch something big. However, unfortunately, we can't do that anymore because a couple of competitors complained about it to the board, and they don't allow it anymore. But whatever. Don't even get me started on that.
Oh my goodness.
I know. Don't even get me started on that. But what you can do though is go download that checklist, even though it says seller's inspection checklist. You could do it too,
Use it.
and just go look. There's some obvious things on there, some cracks, things like that. The good news is the due diligence aren't that high anymore, and I'm not sure, you could probably speak more to that, but I think they've come back down to more reasonable.
Your typical.
Yeah. I mean, now don't get me wrong, you don't want to lose any due diligence.
Right.
But 500, 1,000, up to $2,000, it's not going to ruin your life.
Exactly.
But $50,000 or more, it could ruin your life for a little while anyway. But yeah, and I can't do it for a fee, but we could do it for a favor or something to come with you or something. But or you know what, you can get on if you got a contractor friend or something, go with you when you're looking at it, same sort of thing. But just be real alert when you're looking at a house at some obvious things. And we have a whole bunch of stuff on our website, and I've done several videos on that specific thing. We look for major cracks, just some obvious red flags like, hey, you may want to reconsider putting a big due diligence down on this one. Now, it's not that often. I mean, it's not like 50% of the houses have something like that. It's probably, I'd say 7-8%, something like that, But hopefully that's helpful. And there's a whole lot of, there's if you go to homeinspectioncarolina.com, we got a whole lot of videos, home maintenance videos, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, we'd love to be a resource for home inspection, home maintenance, anything like that. We'd love to help you.
What's your typical turnaround time if I call, or if the clients were to want to just reach out? Let's say they're considering it and they don't have an agent, but they just want to do some looking. Maybe they're a for sale by owner, or they own some property and maybe it is part of an estate, and they want to just have you come in and look. If they pull you up online and they want to just chat or ask you some questions, and what's your typical turnaround time?
Oh yeah, awesome. Hey, good question. Typically within 24 hours. There's so many ways, like on Facebook and then through the website. Through the website's probably the best because it goes in straight email. Sometimes on the Facebook, it's like, oh gosh, that was from a day or two ago. But I will respond for sure. People ask me all the time, or take pictures, and if I can tell from the picture, I'll do my best. Or if I can't answer the question, I can probably put you in touch with somebody who can answer it, or at least get you on the right track. And the one thing I would also like to say, Stephanie, is be careful. There are opportunistic contractors out there, just like there's opportunistic mechanics.
Right.
You know what I mean? Have you ever gone to a mechanic and it's so funny. I've gone to a mechanic here in the good part of town with my good clothes on that looked like I had like an office job or something. And went to get my car fixed, they come up with a bunch of moo that said like
Yeah.
$2,100. And little did they know, I mean, I'm a home inspector. I grew up on a farm. I've had every broken down car in the world. I know how to fix stuff myself too. I knew it was a bunch of moo. And I went in there and I'm like looking up on the rack. I said, how much money do I owe you right now for checking it out? He's like $50. I was like, all right, I'm gonna give you $50. Put my car back down. And then he started going down on the price. And I took it to the guy that I know in Indian Trail, kind of out in the and he's my guy. The only reason I went here was just because it was convenient,
Yeah.
And he fixed everything that I needed, and for like $300. This other guy wanted like $2,200, and it's just like that. And there's some contractors that are like that too. That you know, oh, you
Yeah.
need a mold remediation. You need a whole new HVAC system. Do I? Do I really need it, or do I just need a
Exactly.
capacitor? And if I put that capacity, a lot of times they're like, well, it's 14 years old. You probably need to replace. Well, my car's 14 years old too. And, my dad drove a truck for 30 years, that 300,000 miles on it, just
Yeah.
because you think it needs to be replaced. I don't like when people try to sell people stuff they don't need. And especially if they use fear or that person's,
Yeah.
taking advantage of that person not
Yeah.
having knowledge of it. I have a real problem with that, and I'm kind of on a mission to so I guess my point is, if somebody gives you an estimate on something you don't think it's right, or something doesn't feel right, message me. Tell me what's going on, and I'm not saying 100%, but if something doesn't feel right about it, it's usually not.
That is really good advice.
Yeah, I mean, I
You
can't
know,
always say, but just yeah, I just like, something doesn't feel right about that. I want to get a second and third opinion.
you
And then
listen
if
to
you
your
say that
gut.
and they immediately start going down on the price, yeah, and they're like, now I'm definitely not going to use you. I mean, that's what then he was like, bad. Well, I came down to 1,200. I was like, you came down $800 just because I want to take it somewhere else. No, I'm not using you. I wouldn't
No.
let you do it for free right now.
And if they're doing that to you, what are they doing to me?
Right.
Just saying.
Yeah, 100%. I just,
So I completely agree with you. You have to be careful, and if it doesn't feel right and you just in the pit of your stomach, something's not right and it feels off, walk away from it. Be done, because you need to listen to your gut. Your gut will keep you right in line and let you know when something's wrong.
100%. And like in my air conditioner example, I mean, I like the person that will say, hey, I give you options, right? I
Right.
can fix this. It'll probably get you another 2 years, maybe 2 or 3. You're going to probably have to replace this within the next 5. You know, you can do that, and I'll be happy to do that. Or you could do this,
Mm-hmm.
now I feel like, okay, you give me the options, and
Yeah.
it depends on where you are, I mean, sometimes I will just do the $200 thing just because, for a couple of reasons, especially if it's air conditioning. It's like
Right.
I'm going into the winter. I don't need it right now anyway. And 3 years from now, when I do replace it, I'll have a 1-year-old system instead of a 3-year-old system. That's my thinking. But everybody I like when they give you options, because then to me, that's more honest,
When you're upfront and honest, regardless of how painful that honesty is, it's the actual place that the person is in their perspective of which way they're going to go and which option they're going to choose, and they've been given the truth, and they're going to make the best decision for them at that point in their life. And
Right.
the option is always best for them. It's not what's best for us, but as long as we were honest about it, it is
100%.
it is what it is, and it's always the best option.
Yeah. And if somebody only gives you the most expensive option and puts pressure on you
That's a
to do it,
problem.
that's a red flag. That
Yeah.
is a red flag.
Yes. There's got to be more than one option.
And the second you talk about getting a second opinion, they start backing off of
Boom.
the well, you already just
Boom.
exposed yourself.
There you go. Well, today I want to say thank you, Preston. You have been amazing. You've definitely opened my eyes. I've taken a few notes on a couple of things. You are always enlightening. You're always funny and make me laugh, which I love. And I know that you have helped so many people. I look forward to working with you again soon, talking to you and seeing you out and about in those crazy golf pants. And if anybody needs anything, Preston's your guy, and I will have all of his information in the link below. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Thank you for having me, Stephanie. And let me say that anybody out there is lucky to get this lady as their realtor
Oh,
because she's smart. I mean, I'm going to hire her after what she told me. I mean, the way she did that deal, I was thinking, man, 95% of realtors, that deal would have been dead. So smart
thank
realtor,
you.
smart lady.
Got to be savvy.
Awesome.